Hello everyone and welcome to a new IK video. This is Ken from 49, and in this video guys we're gonna discuss few things about the time rift breaker, and also I'll provide you guys with a riddle. If you manage to solve it, you will get a special code, which is the Halloween code for this year. So let's just get started by checking our reports for the time rift breaker for the previous round. I managed to rank 9th in the previous round, even though I missed a couple of attacks, or I wasn't that lucky when it comes to the RNG of the skills that I was using. But here are all the presets that I used in the previous round. I changed Charles a couple of times. I switched between Charles and the other shadow immortal that I'm using, which is Bjorn. But apparently Charles is kinda better in this March, since I'm using an Earth Dragon. That means that Alex is getting the 20% bonus when you use four troops or 4 figures of the same element. But of course I'm not using the same skills. These are the current skills that I'm using. We're gonna check the skills in the report itself. However, the first march that I used was my fire march. It did a lot of damage. So far this is my favorite march to use. It is the basic fire march. However, I'm changing the skill a bit. I'm using wind rage plus adrenaline rush. You can see that Hippolyta manages to land 91 flaming smite in just one fight. And of course I don't need any kind of defensive skill on Trajans, because Hippolyta mainly disables the damaging skills coming from the Rift Breaker Amplify. And of course the main damagers are both Empress Wu and Sign Duke, and I'm using Demonic Contract. So far it's dealing kinda a decent damage, and Energy Burst, if I manage to get the additional energy, that means that Sign Duke will deal more, will cost her ultimate skill more, which means more damage. For Empress Wu, I'm using Concentration, Poison Thorn, and Spell Disintegrator. So far the damage is just insane from this march. However, if you have an immortal such as the Holy One, I forgot his name, Couple Icon, that means that you will be able to deal so much damage. I'm working on him currently, ever since he appeared on the Sparks of Galaxy. I worked on him. I think this is the second day I'm working on him. I managed to get him to 4 stars. Maybe by next round, hopefully I'll manage to max him. Anyway, back to Rift Breaker. So this is the fire march that I'm using. As for the second one, which is my Alex and Yushitsiyon, this is kinda up to RNG. However, in this fight I was very lucky because Lifelink dealt 22 million damage. That means that Bjorn didn't even die, which means the other immortals in the march didn't receive that much damage early on. But I don't know what happened here that Yushi died so quickly, even though he was in the back line. But it's okay. I got the damage that I needed. I think in the first day I ranked second overall damage, but I wasn't lucky, as you will see in the reports that will follow. This march is the most interesting to me. I know it's the lowest damage, but still this is a third march that I'm using. I'm using mainly magic damage in this march. This is why I'm using Ragnar, because of his ultimate skill that increases the magical damage by 30% for 6 seconds. And I'm using William for the crit rate and the crit damage, since I'm using his exclusive artifact. I'm using Vitality Touch to heal Ragnar, since I need him to survive as much as possible. This is why I'm using Absolute Defense. As you can see, it plugged 23 million damage in here, and Lifelink dealt 5 million damage. Not that much, but still the 5 million damage means 5 million less damage dealt to my Ragnar. And as you can see, the main damage in this formation coming from the soul skill of Poison Thorn from Merlin, dealt almost 35 or 36 million damage in here. Cleopatra dealt a decent amount of damage as well, and the total damage was 98 million damage. In this one here I got very lucky because my Sign Duke dealt 62 million damage, a total damage of 162. I didn't change anything in this formation. The skills were all the same. However, by the way, I'm using a magical attack bonus artifact on Empress Wu. This is why she deals more damage. The crit, I don't think the crit does matter that much versus a single target, since the resilience is not that high. So you don't have to use a crit rate artifact. I believe a magical attack artifact will be much better. In this one, I wasn't very lucky. I used the right equipment and I used the right set of skills, but I wasn't very lucky when it comes to the RNG. All my immortals died, and absolute defense and lifelink almost didn't broke them much. 7 million damage here, but when it comes to lifelink, it was only 3.5 million damage compared to the other one, which was 22 million damage. It's a big difference. In this one here, I really love this March. You can see here absolute defense. I got very lucky, 25 million damage blocked, and lifelink 14 million damage, and of course Merlin with the highest damage, mainly from Poison Thorn. Here again, it's a fire march. You know how it goes. Main damage is Pine Duke and Empress Wu. I wasn't very lucky in this one attack. I don't think that absolute defense broke them much, only twice, and the lifelink damage wasn't that high either. I think this both attack what got me very low, and I wasn't very lucky in this one here as well. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I don't think I should have used Rage Blessing. I made a mistake here probably, because as you remember, I used Vitality Touch in order to keep healing Ragnar, since it's the main damager. I mean the main tank in this formation. So maybe this is why the March died very quickly compared to the other two reports. Here this formation was kinda better. I mean, using Charles instead of Bjorn and using Zenobia instead of Emperor Ken. You can see it's kinda got more damage compared to the other formations. Not sure about the lifelink damage. Yeah, lifelink damage is way higher, 22 million. But this is the only report that I used Charles in, so I'm not 100% sure about this formation. And again, this is my fire formation, the usual build, and this was my last attack, and I used Vitality Touch in this round as well. I made a couple of changes when it comes to skill. No, not in this one. However, you can see Poison Thorn RNG wasn't that much helpful to me. It didn't deal that much damage. Prophecy, you know, when Prophecy deals the most damage, you know that Poison Thorn, the RNG from Poison Thorn wasn't that much. Anyway, this is the report for the Rift Breaker Amplify, and these are the builds I'm using. I will change everything, of course, once I get Kublai Khan maxed. And now for the riddle for the Halloween code. Here is the Halloween riddle for you. In the darkest night, when shadows loom, a figure emerges, dispelling gloom, with badge and uniform, commanding might, protector of the peace, a simple flight. Who's this guardian, brave and bold, enforcing the law, their duty untold? What am I? Alright, in my upcoming video, I might tell you the code, guys, but until then, you have to figure this out yourself. Anyway, this will be all for this video. Happy Halloween. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and have a wonderful day.